Oh boy, I've got a story for you guys tonight. Welcome back, Troglodytes, to your daily dose of guitar information, the Trogly's Guitar Show. Alright, so here I am, 5 o'clock, looking at Reverb, and this listing right here catches my eye. A 2006 Gibson Les Paul Gold Top for $3,000. I thought it looked a little bit strange. My first instinct was, okay, is that really a 1977 Les Paul Gold Top that somebody's like misreading the decal serial number as 2006? Sometimes that'll happen. Because the gold top finish looked a little bit dark, like the clear coat had really ambered over. But then my next thought was, you know what, maybe this one's been refinished or something. So let's go ahead and look through the rest of it. We've got reflector knobs, we have the modern style API branded parts that have the Allen key adjusts, so it looks more modern than 2006. We've got mini humbuckers, our pick guard doesn't exactly match the same cream colors, but they don't always. Quick glance at the fretboard, I mean, it looks all right. You get to the headstock, yeah, it says Gibson. There's our neck. Yep, sure enough, we've got some back plates. And it's a real authentic Gibson case. And we've got the paperwork. Oh boy, this was intentionally designed to scam someone. And guitars like this really upset me. So this is a Chibson that has been dressed up with authentic parts, put in a real case, given paperwork, and then passed off to somebody probably in a trade or on local marketplace. And it just pains me to see stuff like this because here's the thing, standards and deluxe, they are the harder ones to suss out because the headstocks aren't as goofy as like the customs because you've got inlay sizes being wrong. So if we go to the body, we can tell this is still the Chibson pickguard, but you'll see that they did actually change it into a skirted knob right here. So I have no doubt that this is likely authentic Gibson mini humbuckers in here, the same API stuff. The longer I look at the knobs, the more I'm not convinced those were actually changed, but they sure do look decent from this angle. But that truss rod cover is actually very convincing. At first I thought it was actually a real Gibson part, but now that I look closer at it, it's not. You've got this weird stuff at the top. They're actually a little bit thinner than that. That is an impressive fake. Now, once you get to the fretboard, you know, things start to fall apart. But if you don't have the really fine detailed eyes, you're not going to notice this unless you've held on to many of these. I mean, your nuts looking all janky, the frets. I just thought it was refretted at first, and that might actually be the case. Somebody might have took the time to put jumbo crazy fret wire on here because the original frets put on in China weren't right. But another one of those things that you just won't notice unless you've seen enough of them is the inlays are just not quite the right shape. It's very obvious the larger they are. But those do appear to be authentic Grover tuners here, but it's the serial numbers that are always a dead giveaway. Real Gibsons just don't look like that. Sure, you can throw it into a guitar dater project type thing and read 2006, 171st day of the year, initial batch 446 production number, and made in USA, all that good stuff, but you can plug any number into one of those things. It's not going to tell you anything about the guitar. You have to look at how it's stamped into the headstock, and that's just not how they look. Another one of the more obvious ones is your backplate over here. It's a little bit misshapen, let's just say that. They never get those exactly right. However, they did a decent job at least putting a veneer on the back to make it look like one piece of mahogany. Possible it could also be, but I can totally see how this one fooled someone. This photo angle is kind of interesting too. You can actually see the bracket screw is proud on the pickguard. Now that's supposed to be recessed into it. Now instead of Gibson mini humbuckers used, between $200 and $300. You might be able to get another $50 for your hardware and various electronics. The case could be worth like $200 to someone. I mean, this paperwork, it's easy enough to find for sale separately. So there's still some value in this, but hopefully this guy has no more than like $500 into it. I've got a couple more fun ones for you tonight. Music Go Round just listed this interesting 1994 EDS-1275. So normally you see cherry versions of these, but a straight up ebony one from the early 90s. So it has both sets of pickups uncovered, but you can still tell that they're the original Gibson ones, most likely because you still have the gold pole pieces in these areas. But then at bare minimum, you've got these metal plates over top of your pickup rings, and everything's just gold, including these metal knurled knobs. And yeah, sure enough, it actually is a 1994. Now, if you're confused, shouldn't it be 97? You gotta remember, what's the 400th day of the year? It doesn't exist. 1994, they changed it up to a year production sequence, and then they brought that back in 2014 through early 2019-ish. I'm always impressed when a store gets that right. And it looks like we've got Schaller strap locks on this particular one. As far as the rest of the condition, it seems okay. You don't see many 90s double necks, but there was a limited edition run in 1994 for the 100th anniversary. Now coming down here, they claim the only changed part is the pickup covers were taken off and they're in the case, as well as strap locks. I don't know, at this point, if somebody's willing to take covers off of it, they probably added the metal toppers and the knobs. But it sure does look cool. They're asking $10,500. Next up is just... The guitar broker found a cool one. This is a 78 Les Paul Custom, an advertised factory 3 pickup in just about the coolest wine red finish I have ever seen. Like, it's almost turned into a blood red fade. So usually what causes this is uneven aging. Like, this part of the guitar saw more sun than the top, and it causes the uneven fading. But if you take a step back, it doesn't always look like that. It's such an interesting finish. This is one of those ones where you just don't care about the condition and you buy it, because not every wine red custom is going to look like that. The only thing that stopped me from buying this is the pickups have been replaced. You definitely have more modern pickups here. The description says they're Seymour Duncans. Interesting, they still use the original pots. However, they changed the wiring to 3 volumes and a master tone. I mean, you could get some T-tops and restore this, because the tuners still seem to be original. You've got a couple of nicks and dings on the neck. Serial number indeed dates to 1978, the 79th day. Headstock's looking all right. And you got a little patch of buckle rash on the back. But the keen-eyed viewers might have saw in this photo, if you zoom in, it actually has the 80s diamond posi lock strap locks on it. So those are worth it a little bit of money on their own. I think he's right on the money for that, especially if it did start life as a 3 pickup one, because they did make those. Next up, we've got an awesome Les Paul Futura. I was tempted to buy this one, but I'm like 20 guitars deep in reviews right now. I need to slow down so I can process some of this stuff. But here's the thing, the Futura. Awesome model. I love it. It's kind of like the BFGs. It comes with a stock P90 and a humbucker. And I mean, technically this thing's a humbucker too, because it's a sidewinder. So you actually have one coil this way loaded on its side and another one right there, kind of like the old EB bases. But this was not a model that came stock with a flame top. Like, sometimes you would find some, but this is just kind of like a luck of the draw type thing. Now this one's been played quite heavily. You've got edge wear, significant edge wear on all sides. But this right here was the model that I learned the color of wood will change the appearance of the finish. Because I remember seeing these and being like, hey, who refinished our neck? Because it's just blue. And what's going on along the edge? We've got like this aqua green on the back, blue on the top with another sprayed blue, and then we've got blue around the corners. Yeah. It's all the same color, except for that dark blue border. That is different. But it's sprayed one color. The mahogany makes it look green. The white maple makes it look blue. It kind of gives you an interesting blue binding effect. I had one of these with a crazy flame neck at one point in time, so that's why I wanted to check this one out too. It seems like it's got some figuring to it. And these Futuras have gotten more expensive lately. I honestly would suggest paying that much for that one. There's nothing wrong with that. Now, would it be better if it had a case? Yeah, sure. But no dice on that. But now, how do you feel about this ES-355 from Haggerty's? So it's listed as brand new. It's not a mod collection or demo shop guitar, but you've got exposed tailpiece studs with a real Bigsby. I mean, I suppose it's possible they ordered it that way. You know, you wanted to convert it back into a stop bar tailpiece and just leave the Bigsby on there and have it there for flashiness. But usually when you do that, you put a giant custom-made plaque over top of it. But they probably didn't like it for the aesthetics. So this is one of those few times where apparently it's a factory option. If you buy this guitar, please save this listing, print it out, because in 20 years, nobody, and I mean nobody, will believe you that you did not add the Bigsby and convert a regular one. But I just noticed something. This Cobra burst has gold hardware. Cobra isn't exactly like Silver burst, but it's pretty close. Usually those come with chrome. And it looks like they matched our knobs and switch tip with that. Then they put a red pick guard on it just for fun, and it's one of those long ones. Here's another cool one that I'm surprised has lasted 3 days. It's an SG Elegant with one of the craziest nearly perfectly book-matched quilty tops I've seen on an SG. Like, you guys are sleeping on this. I'm surprised. A relatively well-known dealer can post this for $3,300 and it doesn't sell instantaneously. I mean, if this were in my shop, it would be a bare minimum $4,500. But it appears to be from 2011. It doesn't seem to be too beat up. You've got your 57 Classics, long neck tenon. That is a nice looking SG Elegant. I'm a big fan of them. But to end out tonight's episode, check out this black ebony Explorer, another guitar from 1994 in TV black. And you guys know me, I collect nice custom shop edition guitars, and in the 90s, that just meant it was like a catalog order guitar or a small limited run batch. So there's tons of small tiny runs, so just because you've only ever seen one or two of these in the wild doesn't necessarily mean anything, because there could have only been just a handful of these things made. But you don't find this finish too often, and it's very close to Silver Fox if the clear coat would just yellow into an amber color and give you slight green hues. But it's that great dog hair like finish. I'm just having a hard time telling, is this gloss or is it satin? Because the neck looks gloss, but the body nearly looks satin, so that could have just been played in. But it looks like somebody has put some Dunlop strap locks on it. That's the thing with Explorers. I love them. I enjoy collecting them, but there's just not that many limited edition ones that are cool, you know, outside of artist signature models. And this is a really early 1994, because you got to remember, when the custom shop actually opens, they discontinue this decal very shortly after that and come out with other stuff, because this is not actually a custom shop guitar. It just meant it was some sort of a limited edition. But cool to see all the paperwork filled out. And I guess you can make them an offer. I'm going to continue watching that listing, hoping it comes down significantly in price. I wouldn't mind adding that one to my collection for around $2,000. All right, troglodytes, please stay safe out there. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and we'll catch you tomorrow on the next one. Take care.